I'll be
when my Savior I shall see.
And tell him of his love, and tell him of his love that he had for me. No more sorrow, grief or pain, all the time won't be the same.
So happy I'll be,
so happy I'll be forever more.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Where'd the old town go? They moved it all north of here in the shopping mall.
Good morning and welcome to Old Town Cleveland here on WOOP FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.woopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553. Good morning, Debbie Moore. Tell me what's going on.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day here on this May the 20th, 2017. We got Bradley High School graduation going on down on this south end of town, or southwestern portion of town, and so stay away.
I think it's at 10 o'clock, so you're late.
Stay away.
And
we at 8 o'clock this morning, there were people walking down South Lee Highway where they had to park a good distance away.
If you haven't got there, go ahead and park at the village and walk on down.
And someone sent me a note a while ago and asked me if I knew if they were doing a live stream of it, and I do not know that.
Usually they do, but
I have no idea.
Most of the people who are involved in graduation are the people who do the live streaming, so they may not. So,
well, and we're so proud of our own Morgan Denny. We saw a picture of him on Facebook this morning, dressed in white, which means he's graduating with honors, and hats off to him. He actually had his hair combed and had it all up under that hat, which is a miracle.
Well, we don't know it's combed. It was underneath the hat. But it's, that work he's done here at Whoop Radio with Old Town Cleveland.
That advanced his skills.
Into getting, or it taught him to work really hard in school so he didn't have to do Whoop Radio.
Right, that's right. Nice young man, and we've been glad to have him. He was supposed to do a 6-week internship with us, and he's been with us for well over a year now, and comes most Saturdays just because he wants to. We're always glad to have him with us. Tomorrow in Charleston, Tennessee, at the Historical Society meeting, 3 p.m. there in the old bank that's now been turned into the very nice small museum, Hiwassee Museum, Heritage Center, I believe they call it. 3 p.m. Margot Steele from the History Branch is going to be talking about not only the building that is the History Branch, but what all you can access there for free. If you're interested in starting your family history, that would be a good one for you to go see. And the 1982 class reunion today of Bradley Central High School will be held live on Whoop today from 4 to 7 p.m. And then afterwards there will be a reception out here at the Ball-Headed Bistro out in the inside of the mall here. And both of those activities are totally free. And Gary Ornby will be here signing his books.
Those people that graduated in 82 are 53 years old roughly now.
Oh, God.
Well, bless their heart.
Yeah, they're getting old.
That's horrible.
You know how I knew that? I graduated from Bradley in 72, and that's like 10 years, and I'm 63.
That's math.
That makes that 53, does it not?
You shouldn't be allowed to have a reunion.
We could tell Ron was a math major.
I was.
And also this afternoon,
I was counting on something. I don't know what it was.
This afternoon from 5 to 7:30 down at the Flit Springs Ruritan Club on Flit Springs Road, right off Dalton Pike. They'll be having a free beans and cornbread dinner, and all of that's to thank the veterans. So if you would like to fellowship with those folks, go down there from 5 to 7:30 tonight.
And I think the people over at the Birchwood Opry are running now. I think they got a group here this weekend. I heard some people discussing. So other days. So, and talking about Flint Springs, July 4th, don't forget, they always have a big chicken barbecue. If you've never been down
And
there,
they usually sell out, so
Yes,
you have
they
to be there early.
get there early.
Yeah, big grills out back. It's always fun to watch them flip those probably 50 chickens at a time.
You know, quarter chicken and baked beans and coleslaw, just the kind of stuff that John.
And we'd like to say,
like
Too many things going on.
too many-
Involves food.
yeah, there you go. We'd like to say congratulations. Our great niece and our great nephew's getting married this afternoon. Clay Bandy's marrying Hannah Smith, 3 o'clock.
No, Clay, there's still time.
Oh, run away.
You know. Okay.
Okay, I think I got
All right, today's show is we're going to talk about things you can't get anymore. And I said the other day, you can't get banana splits. That's what my doctor told me. You cannot get a banana split. I know.
By the way, we have John Cook and Arnold Tarpley with us today. I don't think we said that part.
Well, you know, John, a longtime musician around town, and wrote our theme song. Well, we like to prompt that, and also writes all of our original music for our documentary. And thanks to him, we won another award for our Ducktown documentary this year. And thanks to John for writing the 2 original songs for that one. So
It's a lot of fun. It's always interesting to see what you guys are going to cook up next.
Well, what's so funny is we'll
Call
go.
me up and say, we need a song about
Well,
a hamburger.
we'll say we need a song, and we need for it to go kind of like this, and we need for it to have these kind of words in it. And he does something totally different, and so it always turns out really good. I'm glad he doesn't listen to us. I did have somebody up in Knoxville when we went to pick the award up the other day say, "How did you learn how to do documentaries?" And I said, "Well,
practice.
we just said, hey, you know, kind of like, you know, the old movies on that where they you know, do a fundraiser or something. Hey, let's do a show. We just decided we wanted to do one, and
we tell a good story. I
We
don't
did
I
one.
know if we're the best
videographers.
productions and video things. And Arnold Tarpley's here, and I want to say, for Arnold's benefit, Arnold works for the Assessor of Properties Office, and the reappraisal of your property does not make your tax rate goes up. It's the city or the county is supposed to change the tax rate so it's neutral. It does not cost you money because you reappraise property, right?
Well, overall, it doesn't cost money. It's,
Right. Now-
the county and the city can't realize a windfall from this.
Right. They have to change their tax rate. That if you pay more, it's the county government and the city government raising your tax rate.
Yeah.
So the tax appraisal does not. I just want to throw that in there for people. I've heard people say, "Oh, it's going to go up." I said, "Well, no, not unless the county raises your taxes, because they have to lower the tax rate so that it's neutral." Right?
Exactly.
All right. So I just wanted to throw that in there. To protect
I'll
our-
remind myself of that when I get that little notice in the mail.
Well, then you call your county commissioner or your city councilman.
That's right.
That's the one you call.
And they'll fix it.
Nope.
They will not fix it. It's too late at that point in time. You're going to pay that. So now, things you can't get anymore. That's just an interesting thing because, you know, I made a list and thought about things you can't get anymore besides banana splits. And
I thought
that's
of
a doctor.
something.
What, Dad?
You can't get a paper poke anymore.
Oh,
It's really hard to find a paper poke.
A paper poke.
a poke's a small bag, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get a big bag, but they
You used to take your lunch in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lunch bag.
Yeah.
You have
we
to
just,
buy
we
your
just
lunch
called
money.
them lunch bags.
Well,
And they would give them to you. I remember when they first decided to charge for them, I think my dad about went off. He said, "World gone to hell in a handbasket. Now they're charging money for paper pokes."
so you would ask at the grocery store.
You just ask at the grocery store
Well, now,
for some
the
lunch
only
bags.
store that I
They'd give you
know
a handful.
Yeah, well, I never thought about
Because they used to put penny candy in, and
Yes.
your
Like Cooper's
if you bought some
Bookstore.
apples or fruit or whatever, yeah, any of those places, they all had paper pokes.
I know Cooks here locally. I think they've about quit asking you, but you can ask.
I
And
think
you can
you're-
still get paper there. We
You can-
we still use
You
it.
get the paper bag.
Yeah.
We get
It's a
my
grocery
wife
bag.
gets the paper bags for dry goods and then uses plastic for frozen items and everything. And I make use of the paper bags to actually put my recycle papers
Well,
in.
you recycle with them, and too, a lot of old home remedies, you put vinegar on a paper bag, and put it on a bruise or something like that.
You put a piece of paper
Yeah.
bag underneath your lip when your nose bleeds too.
Yeah.
Never knew why that made your nose stop bleeding, but you forgot about it. I think what it is. Something you can't get, I think, is free air
Yeah.
for your tires. Used to, every gas station went in and you could pump. You could go up there and they had a little nozzle for free water and free air.
Ron went and shocked the other day when it was bad enough when you had to have 2 quarters, and then it went to 3 quarters.
It's $1 now.
And then it went to
$1.25.
you
sometimes.
swipe your card.
$1.50.
Yeah,
and
swipe your card now for air.
I've got one in the back of my vehicle, and that plugs in my cigarette lighter, and it's
We had one
a
of those.
heavy duty
Yeah.
deal now. It'll
Oh, that's great when you're.
matter of fact,
pull-
it'll pump your tire up a whole lot quicker than the one down there at Rocky Top for $1.
Yeah, that's
You stand there forever, just wondering if
Well-
there's even air going in.
In that same
category.
area,
Uh-huh.
get your gasoline pumped.
oh yeah. The Texaco man that wears a star isn't around no more. Now there's one or two places that'll do that, but you pay more for it, don't you, John?
A little bit.
Oh yeah.
But
I don't even know of any places. I think the Phillips down here on South Lee still.
Collins.
That's
Still
what I was
comes
thinking.
out.
They're the only ones that'll still do that.
will
as
they
far as I
check your
know.
oil and do everything?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll check your oil
But-
for you,
but-
pump your gas.
You know, I know Arnold worked in the gas station. You did all that. You checked their tires, you cleaned their windshield, you checked their oil, the fluids, anything you wanted to, and that was part of a fill-up.
Yeah.
And the fill-up wasn't $2 a gallon back then.
It was
either.
59 to 69 cents back then, but you walked out, you pumped whatever gas they wanted, you got them to pop the hood if the latch was inside at that time, and you checked everything.
Well, you know,
Clean the windows.
They'd fill up your windshield wiper thing.
yeah, they would change your. Well, they also had the blades for your windshield wipers.
Mhm.
They also had. They could change. Usually sold you tires.
We sold tires and patched tires.
Is there a tire patch anymore?
Yeah.
They do plugs now.
Actually, the plugs are gone.
plug-
Everybody uses the patches now, but
Oh.
the plugs are what have gone
Well, a
away.
lot of them don't have tubes in your tires anymore, though. You don't have a tube.
No.
And if you punch a hole in one of those tires now, it's like, oh, sorry, you got to buy another tire.
Yeah.
That's okay because they make tires now that seal themselves up.
Yes. Oh. What else can't you get, John?
What can I get? A brake. Well, most of my favorite things you can't get anymore involve food. Wally Burger. That's the saddest
Wally
thing on the
Burger.
planet that disappeared. Wallace Reimer's hot slaw and the Wally Burger.
Oh,
And
that
no, you know,
Those little French fries that they put in that little container, and
nobody makes it anymore.
they put the wax paper up and then put a toothpick down through it.
Mhm.
That's, along those same lines, something that Ron and I'll stand in the grocery store and look for is streaked meat, like to go in beans. We always end up getting some kind of substitute for it because nothing was quite like what I want.
If we didn't have bacon, Mom would slice it up and fry it for breakfast.
Yeah.
Now that's salt.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about getting your sodium in for the day.
But Ron and I spent a lot of time standing and staring. Well, I don't think that's stricken meat. Of course, we finally figured out you can get you a fairly good pork chop and just throw it in there, and it cooks up real well and gives you some flavor in your
Mom
beans.
called
Not
it
smoked meat.
streakeline.
Strickling.
Streakeline. She'd
Streaked
buy
Can
that
you-
all the time.
Can you buy Crisco in a can still?
Yeah.
Big old gobs of that Crisco?
Yeah,
Well,
they
see, now,
still can.
I remember that just Mom getting a big spoonful of that and throwing it in the skillet. And then when you got done, you poured it in a little tin can on the back of the stove. and
That's
had-
what I'd like to have sometimes, or the bacon drippings.
I tell you, our table was always set with a fine collection of crystal, and it was good crystal glasses that came in oatmeal boxes.
Oh, that.
Oh, that's the fancy kind.
You fan. I had Bama,
Oh, yeah.
Bama jelly jars.
That's everyday dishes right there.
Yeah.
The Bama jelly.
I'm talking about nice crystals with design on it, and it would come in like green and clear.
Gold trimmed. I had some gold trimmed one.
We
time.
have some like cut glass gold, and I started to use them one day. And so whoever was at our house said, "You know, those are full of lead." And I thought, well, I don't care.
They're quite collectible now. But I remember
We had a
pulling
picture
those
that
out of-
matched too that we were using just a couple of years ago, and it was cold and got set in the sink, and a little hot water hit it. And it
But Well, yeah, there was oatmeal had those things in it, and then washing powders had
some of the washing
washcloths.
detergents.
Yeah.
Or a
You know,
towel, a little towel sewed on the edge. Now, I really don't remember the flour sack cloth on the flour sacks. By the time I could remember, they'd already gone to some kind of, paper bag that they put the flour in. But I know that's a big deal to a lot of people listening, is that you would,
I remember getting potatoes
the seeds, the
in those
feed,
type of bags.
I don't remember that.
We would hang on to them. They put your clothespins in to hang out on the clothesline, and let me see, there was something else that came in those little burlap bags. Is what I call them, potatoes.
I'm talking about the cloth that you sewed with. You could get them at the feed store too, and the women would go and pick out the bags of feed that they were going to use on the farm so that they'd match, so they could make a dress or two out of them.
But now, I guess there's still Velvo flour, but it's not something you get very easily. I think you have to. The Velvo Flour Company is owned by a company out of Knoxville now, and they ship it out to something else. But I think they still ship some. But they don't make it over here in Cleveland anymore, I don't think. We've still got the mill here, but I don't think that's what they actually grind. Or somebody who works over there might be able to call us here today and tell us who they actually make their flour for now, or because
Velvo flour.
Velvo.
Been a while.
Can you still get Martha White self-rising flour with Hot Rise Plus?
I don't know.
I think
every store you shop at's got their own brand.
Yeah.
And usually that's because it's all basically the same stuff.
I don't know
haven't
if you
seen
can
it
actually
in a
get
long
that or not now, but I know I saw it not too many years ago in a store. So
I don't have much need for flour, so I don't know.
Talking about a burger that I used to love, and it's gone now, was the Sugar and Spice Beef Burger. And that's one that had hot slaw on it down here on South Lee Highway, right by where everybody had called it the mud hole back there. That was some good
I
hamburgers.
think hot slaw was invented in Cleveland, Tennessee.
I think it was
It's
too.
pretty
You get
close.
inside our
Now, we've
area,
had
they
at
look at
least
you.
24 people on here that's sure that their grandpa invented it too.
You go outside
know.
of Cleveland, they look at you like you got lobsters crawling
Oh, yeah,
after your
you
ears.
don't. Even Athens doesn't have it. It's a pretty regional thing.
I loved Ron's boss from, where did he live? Boston. Came down here and they had a big barbecue over at the cable office then, and all of a sudden he stood up and announced, "Folks, watch out! This yellow slaw is hot." And the room, it was like crickets, because everybody just looked at him like. And then someone explained to him gently it was supposed to be hot.
yeah,
You can't get a good 45 record anymore either.
I don't even think you can get a 45 record at all.
Well,
You can still buy vinyl albums, but
Antique.
nobody.
No, there's some
most
people
of the
pressing new ones.
Yeah, all the new artists are pressing on vinyl now because there's such a market for it. Everybody's gone back to using.
Well, now, did you
the
think the vinyl
turntables
sounded better
and-
than the CD?
The vinyl sounds warmer. It's more. It's got a more of a. It's got a warmer tone to it. The CDs can, unless they know what they're doing. The people that mix the music are kind of like that a little bit. It's more of a.
We don't have that
thing.
Yeah. At the beginning.
Yeah, see, some of us like that.
Yeah. Well, I remember it very well.
I can't
You
sleep
remember-
unless I
I
got
believe
a
it's-
fan on in the bedroom. I like that white noise.
Everyone Loves Raymond the grandpa didn't want to get rid of all of his old vinyl albums. And he said, "Listen to this, it's beautiful." And he puts it down and goes, shh, and then it starts playing music. I'll tell you something that I could use every now and then that I don't have is a typewriter. Because you can't get ribbons for them even if you have a typewriter. Because every now and then you have that piece of paper that needs to have you don't want to write it on there. You'd like to type it so it'd look nice. Yeah.
I think we still have a typewriter stuck in the back of our office that we don't have any ribbons for.
No clue,
ability to use.
no ability to get one. Yeah.
Well, they'll make good boat anchors. You can get the wire through it. It just makes a good boat anchor.
Now, if you go back to the old manual Royals, yeah, those are real good boat anchors.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I learned to type at down at Cleveland High School.
At Cleveland High School?
I mean, Bradley High School. This school over there, yeah.
A lot of technology's gone by the wayside. Transistor radios.
Oh, yeah.
That used to be the big thing, but if you had a transistor radio.
Yeah.
And then they got big. And then now they've gotten small again. But one thing, too, is you're absolutely right, John. But the kids can't find things to play with anymore that doesn't require batteries or power of some kind. You know, when we were growing up, what did you have to play with? Most high-tech thing I played with was the flashlight.
I think the most high-tech thing I had was a spinning top. You know, 'cause it came with 2 working parts, a top and a string.
That kind of, it's like that. Those little whirly things the kids play with now.
Yo-yos.
Yo-yos, yeah, that was high tech. If you had one of those when you spun it and it sparkled, well, that was really big time there, you know.
I mean, it was huge when you watched on TV and somebody knew how to do all those tricks with them, and you're going, wow.
All the toy guns and army guns, they were all mechanical. They weren't battery powered to make a noise.
Yeah, if you had one that went whee, you had something big.
All right, John, this is something that we can't get any more, and I'm sort of glad we can't get any more clackers.
Oh, good Lord.
Did you remember clackers? Or you
I think these new spinners or whatever they're called is going to go the same way as the clacker.
Was
about ridiculous.
It was a long string with 2 big round hard balls on them, and you had to sort of bounce them and make them bounce on either side. Now, that worked really good till it got a little off center and it hit you in the wrist.
They were wrist breakers, that's for sure.
Oh, my gosh. But, God, at Bradley High School down on the basement floor, you could hear it up in the of course, Miss Clemmer, she's our freshman, sophomore year, she could find them. Of course, anybody could find them. Everybody had them going down the hallways.
You remember when we were kids, the old ball and the string?
Yeah.
You just,
with a little paddle?
You just sit there and
paddle.
It's a little cup.
Oh, that.
Oh, that one,
Yeah, the paddle one was ridiculous, too, but the little cup and ball, you just
throw it up and catch it. Throw it up and catch it.
And now they're called kendamas, and they were the rage 2 years ago because I would pull up to the middle school, drop Taylor off, and every kid walking down the sidewalk had a. I said, "Why are all these kids playing with the ball and cup?" She said, "Those are kendamas." I said, "No, they're not. They're ball and cup." I said, "We got them for about 50 cents when we were a kid. That's what you got if you couldn't afford a good toy."
Well, that's what your teacher got you every year in elementary school.
They were paying like
Either that or a
$50 for them. You buy them with little designs on them, and I don't know what the deal is.
Well, somebody on Facebook here is saying that Bradley High is streaming live on Channel 5.
Channel 5, good. Can you still get a hacky sack?
WTNB.
Yeah,
a hacky sack.
but not a hacky. What are those little balls called?
Oh, yeah.
Where you kick them in there?
Yeah.
I never could do that anyway, but they weren't a craze for us.
No.
That was a little bit later.
It was, it wasn't. I never hacky sacked.
Yeah.
Did you ever hacky sack?
No.
Yeah.
I never hacky sacked. I never pet rocked. I never chia petted.
Now, something, me and you,
Those things.
I don't think you can
I did buy a pack of magic monkeys. Sea monkeys.
Yeah.
Isn't all
What a
comic book.
rip-off.
What were those?
It's actually
Little shrimp?
brine shrimp, but they're microscopic. Of course, in the little tank plastic thing they sent you had a magnifying glass mounted on the side.
Mexican jumping beans.
But they weren't in there building
You
castles
remember
and
Mexican
cities
jumping?
like
I
it
love
showed.
Mexican jumping beans.
Yeah.
I'm going, there's something in there.
You'd be standing like at Lowe's and they'd be in the display making a little noise beside you. Yeah, I used to buy those
That's
for my
kind
kids.
of sadistic, really. You know what's in that makes it jump? It's a worm.
Yeah.
It just can't get out.
I was waiting
They're
to make
born
it-
in there and they die in there.
I was waiting to make tequila.
And we're sitting around giggling about it.
Now, something that you and I would be more familiar with, we're a little older, just a little bit older than Arnold, beetle boots.
We're not that much older than Arnold, are we?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I had a pair of beetle boots.
Beetle boots. Oh, everybody had to have beetle boots.
You had to have a pair of beetle boots, and you had to have a Nehru
A
jacket.
Nehru jacket.
Nehru
Oh, yeah.
jacket. And then at some point, it was fashionable. You had to have a members only jacket. Tennessee Tea went through the members only jacket.
Member only jacket.
I was just tickled to get a pair of cowboy boots and a pair of tennis shoes every year. That was Big.
Oh,
Socks.
Yeah. That too.
I'll never forget that year we couldn't afford socks. Dad used to paint mine and my brother Ray's feet black.
Well,
Because that
Yeah.
went with anything.
every year you'd start school and there was a shopping expedition. New tennis shoes, hot dog.
Only thing is, the
Kids.
only thing we did was outside.
Yeah.
We'd wear those tennis shoes out in 3 or 4 weeks.
Or
Because you had no brakes on your bicycle.
That's right.
Yeah. Or PF flyers.
PF flyers. Kids.
Yeah.
Or they were kids or kids? Was it
Kids.
Kids. K-E-D-S.
K-E-D-S. And you can still get those, but they're terribly expensive now. Matter of fact, we looked at a pair for our granddaughter. Shoot, the foot's not too big, and it was a high price. And I thought, geez, those used to be the $1.98 tennis
Yeah,
shoes.
they were cheap. Yeah.
Next week on Old Town Cleveland, we're going to have 3 guys from the Beekeeper Association here talking about how endangered the bees are and how they do stuff. And it's
My
all
cousin Ken
really
up
interesting.
in Montana is a beekeeper.
I
Ken cooks honey.
am terribly interested in it, but I don't want to do it.
Let me tell you what they make some fantastic honey. But when honey season's over, when wintertime starts setting in up there, he ships all of his bees back to California. He has a place in California where they keep them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year, during the spring sometime, they ship them back up to Montana. Now, I don't know how you ship honeybees. Very carefully.
Very
I would
carefully.
imagine.
I mean, I know that they order queen bees and
But
they show up
can
at
you imagine
UPS.
shipping that many
Yeah.
bees back and forth between
Well,
California
and some
Montana?
of what they'll be talking about too is that they rent their bees. A
Yeah.
lot of people do that. The
Yeah.
apple orchards and places that can't manufacture enough of their own bees now because of the insecticides and stuff, and so they temporarily rent, but they have to, guarantee that they're not spraying their crops at that time.
Well, I talked to a gentleman the other day. He's got 3 beehives brought to his house. He has a lot of flowers, and he said there's just not enough bees to pollinate the flowers, so he rents them because he's got a lot invested in his flower garden. So he
All
rents
these big
I
corn
saw a
crops.
few bees out in my backyard. I think I'll catch me 3 or 4 and rent them out.
Yeah, go make some money. Yeah.
A buck a piece or a buck an hour.
Well,
We were, a few years ago, I was at my in-laws' house, and we kept having yellow jackets come in the house. We couldn't figure out where this was coming from. And over the winter, my mother-in-law had the house redone inside, and they took out part of the inside wall and pulled out honeycombs from those yellow jackets
Yeah.
that had been a nest in the wall on that end of the house.
We had one at my mom's house right next to the utility box. Apparently, there had been some kind of hole cut,
Yeah.
and you could hear them inside the wall. I don't remember now how.
Well, I've got one of
They
those
were gone.
carpenter bee traps, and it catches them pretty regularly. We're just hoping they're not all bumblebees.
We wouldn't want to catch the bumblebees.
Bumblebees are one of the few things left that's still pollinating on a pretty regular basis.
Last year, it was Ron fighting the bumblebees at the squash plants. I had those real big, yellow, beautiful blossoms, and those giant bumblebees that come in. They didn't care if you were standing there or not. And Ron got stung by a hornet.
Oh, no, a red wasp.
Yeah.
We had carpenter bees that used to bore into the wood in our garage.
Yeah.
And Dad would have his chair sitting out there in the edge of the garage in the shade, and he had this tin pot that he kept beside of him, and those carpenter bees get out there in that doorway and just hoover. And they would wait till they get real still, and all of a sudden, ping! Send them flying all the way out the driveway.
Hey, something you can't get anymore.
What's that?
A really good home-cooked meal at a school.
Oh, that,
I thought you were going to say at home, and I was going to say you're lying.
No,
no, yeah.
I'm serious. When I was a kid, every elementary school and the high school had their own working cafeteria, had a staff, and it had a head cook. They made their own rolls, cornbread. They were home-cooked meals every day. Now, maybe once a week or every 2 weeks they would fix hamburgers or hot dog. But even then, over to East Cleveland School, they made their own hamburger buns and their own hot dog rolls.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, their hamburger buns tasted just like the sweet rolls that you get down at Farmhouse restaurant, except they were large. And
Oh, we had one kind of bread in
Bradley
our
High
house.
School, Mr. Pig,
Oh, Mr. Pig and Miss Morrison.
Miss Morris.
Morris, that
famous for
Morrow.
his goulash and his
Morrow.
sweet slaw.
Morrow, that's it.
Morrow.
I mean, seriously, you go at high school, you go through the line and you get you some mashed potatoes and a roll and some goulash and some dessert.
Oh,
Now, the kids come home and say, "What'd you have for lunch today?"
Papa John pizza.
Pizza
Yeah.
There's-
or chicken nuggets.
Well, if you put real food on their plate, they don't know what it is.
now up at Walker Valley, when Debbie Walker was up there, she did make a chicken casserole every Thursday, and people out of the community would come up here and eat. It was good, but I don't know if the kids were eating it, but the teachers were all eating it.
That'd be interesting to find out exactly what year it was when who was the last school still cooking a home cooked meal? Who was the last
In the
one to
last
shut it
10
down?
years, they
I would
went,
say it was
they,
probably a city or county-wide thing. Wasn't it?
it was, but they came in and they were to order things in bulk to save money.
Industrialized.
Yeah,
or
and but
commercialized.
the cooks all get together though and decide what the menu's going to be, and the menus are basically the same from school to school, and it's pretty. But it's obviously by looking at me, it's pretty good food.
you something you can't get anymore, and of course John and I keep going back to food. Pasquale's Stromboli steak sandwich. Oh my gosh, was that?
There's only
not-
one place you can get them now, and that's at my house.
Well, that's
I'll
what
be
you
there.
keep saying.
That's what, and I worked at Pasquale's for several years. My brother Ray and I, so we know the recipe and we know at my house we still make the Stromboli steak, the roast beef sandwich, the meatball sub. My wife makes the best
We're going to the wrong
meatballs.
place to eat, aren't we, Arnold?
And we are.
Of course, we're all on diets and trying to get healthy, and we go, I can have like a quarter of one or something like that, or
Yeah, it's. I'm just talking about things you can't have anymore. And after my little incident, and the nutritionist come in the room and basically said all I could eat was grass. And then the doctor
Yeah.
come in the room. He says, "I got 5 things." He named off those 5 things. I said, I can live with that. I can't live with what the nutritionist said.
Yeah,
as long as one of them's not rice cakes, I hope.
No, didn't say anything about rice cakes.
Rice
said-
cake is cardboard.
Said no pizza,
Yeah.
no processed cheese,
Oh, no French
no
fries.
bacon,
No French fries.
nothing real salty,
Uh-huh.
Now wait a minute, I beg to differ.
and no donuts.
Bacon's actually good for you.
Well,
Not a half a pound of it, but
I think one little piece wouldn't kill you every now and then. I
40 calories a slice.
I keep
High
saying,
in sodium, but
I'd like to see one day that they come out with a newscast that Snicker bars are good for you.
Yeah.
Or Cheetos or Snicker bars or something, But they did. I did read a report not long ago that some bacon is good for you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
some coffee is good for you too.
Yeah.
Are you still drinking high test, or you got down to that lower?
Nope, I'm still drinking the high test.
I didn't think you'd change.
I
there.
drink half and half. And
But what I've done is actually kind of compromise. I eat a little bit of everything every once in a while still, but it's more of a treat than it is.
Yes, I do the same. Well, now I have my guilty pleasure of the day, and that's a Hardee's biscuit with an egg on it. I don't eat sausage anymore. Just an egg biscuit. That's my guilty pleasure of the day.
Oh.
Unless I go with John somewhere.
Well, my doctor said egg was okay, just not to eat the bacon.
Yeah.
So
Hey, guys.
you never know what the doctor's going to
man,
say.
Yeah.
I'm feeling bad now. My breakfast was a banana popsicle and a cutie.
guys, one thing that's missing from this world, I don't miss them, but I'm sure some people do, are the cigarette vending machines. Do you remember they used to be in
Yeah.
every restaurant, everything?
Gas stations.
Everywhere you went was the vending machines for the cigarettes. And I think it got down to they couldn't regulate who was buying the cigarettes, and the young kids were getting
Yeah.
them.
I remember Flintstones. Flintstones were originally sponsored by Lucky Strikes.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I saw one of their old commercials.
Well, Winston Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Something
They
else you
sponsored a lot
can't
of
get,
stuff.
and my mom loved them. Man, we lived off of them most of the time, and people didn't want theirs at the checkout line at the grocery store. She'd ask them. She'd snatch them up, and that was S&H green
Oh,
stamps.
green stamps.
Those
Yeah.
big old books laying all over the kitchen table. Her purse just crammed full of them. You'd
I know
swap
when
those
we
things
got
in for
married,
toasters and radios.
Ron's
and-
sister got married the same year, and Grandma got us cut glass punch bowls, which are terribly expensive, with S&H green stamps. She must have saved them for years.
Hey,
And I still got some bowls
and
and stuff that people gave that I know came from S&H.
Old timers would save them up for several years because.
Well, you know, and that goes back to stuff like Stanley Home Products. Oh, do we have a call?
No,
okay.
We need to tell people they can call right here. Hey, folks, you're listening to Old Town Cleveland here on Whoop FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.whoopfm.com. We got John Cook and Arnold Tarpley here, and we're talking about things you just can't get anymore. And you can call us now. The phones are open at 614-5553. What can't you get anymore? Or some things you don't want to get anymore, like a paddling at school and something. I can't get them anymore. You know, of course, no, I start saying, no, I like to have one of those, but that's different. You can't say anything like that. Call us here at 614-5553. I know there are a lot of people down at Bradley High School, so they probably listened to the speeches.
That ding was my phone, and it was my sister, the former school cook, that said, "Amen, John Cook," because they won't let the cooks do what they know they want to do.
Hey, man, I tell you what, it would be fantastic if they could.
Do you remember Golden Gallon Milk?
Yeah.
I remember what a phenomenon that was.
You could drive up and they'd bring milk out to you. Now, you know, it wasn't like a fast food, but they brought.
Yeah. And you know what else they gave you? A bingo card.
Oh, yeah, Friday night bingo.
And then
horse
the races.
Horse
That's
races.
it. The horse. Then they did horse
They had a
races.
video horse race that they played every Saturday. Boy, if you could have tapped in to see what they were going to play that week and got the right card, you know.
Heck, just about every corner grocery, the little corner groceries, you could walk in, there'd be a tip board there.
Oh, tip boards, yeah.
Yeah, a tip board, nice big watch or a silver dollar.
Or some kind of knife.
Yeah, or some kind of knife you could win. I think it was like 10 cents a punch.
Punch board, yep.
They made a killing off those tip boards.
I think they still do. I think they're still illegal even today.
Something else is too, Stanley Home Products. Do you remember that? The Stanley man would come by, and people have Stanley parties. And I remember the guy coming by our house way out in the middle of nowhere in the country, and we'd buy a whole bag. I'd save my money waiting for the Stanley man so I could buy butterscotch candy, because I just didn't think you could get that anyplace else in the world.
Charlie's Chips.
Fresh milk.
Oh, man, Charlie's Chips.
Fresh milk in bottles.
Yeah. Fuller brushes.
Yeah.
The Fuller brush man would come by. Now,
you can still get the Fuller brushes. He just doesn't come by.
Right. It's hard to get them, though. I mean, you know, once you find somebody, Tupperware, Avon is the same way. Is that, yes, it's still out there and it's still viable products, but you have to kind of seek them out.
Oh, man, Avon.
We actually have an Avon salesman that comes by our office from time to time.
Oh, really?
There was some parent at Black Fox that would come by and put the little books in our cubby holes and take orders and stuff, but I know on Facebook you'll see people saying, who sells Avon anymore? Amway.
Yeah.
Man, that was a big deal.
Well, there's still Amway out there, but I think they do it a little different now. And, you know, there's some people who made a lot of money off that.
And I'll tell you something else that doesn't come anymore.
The bosses.
I'll write it down. The lights flashing on, and I'll write it down so I won't forget.
Hey, you're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Morning, Ron.
Morning.
Hey.
Some things you can't get.
All right.
Of course, some of this is automotive related, so
I can't imagine that, Neil.
you can't buy a new car with white wall tires.
You get white wall tires other than the historical places that sell them.
Right, the Cokers and you can't order a car or get fender skirts. Of course, fender skirts would look out of place on a car that's styled like a watermelon.
Yeah.
Now, hubcaps are very rare. What few hubcaps there are, they're plastic.
I hate that.
On about very late model cars. TV and radio repairman, you just throw it away and get another one.
Yeah. Well, a lot of stuff's like that, but I know that Ron's uncle and my uncle both had one of those little black cases full of the tubes, and they'd come over when our TV would break, and they would fix our TV because you just test the tubes.
Right. Blue dot tail lights, you had to have those to be cool back in the day. Can no longer enjoy a race to Cleveland Speedway. I'm afraid that's history, toast. enjoying a movie at the Starview. Drive-in theaters are pretty well.
Yeah, they're about gone.
I think there's one up. Was it Midway up around Athens?
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah, I was up there a couple of weeks ago. Took the grandkids to their first drive-in movie ever. They didn't even know what it was.
We really always enjoyed going to the drive-in. When we were kids. Of course, we went later than that too. But we would go as a family. To the Starview, and it was really always really nice, really fun. Roadside picnic tables. You don't see those anymore. Of course, on the interstate, they'd be kind of out of place. But, you used to be going down the 2-lane, and there would be a couple, 3 picnic tables.
Every 5 or 10 miles you run
down at
across
Southley Highway down towards what they call Dead Men Curve down there. There used to be picnic tables down there.
Yeah.
All through the Smokies, there was ones in the national park and the forest for people. And we used to pack up lunches and stop and eat.
I've not seen any Davy Crockett coontail hats like I had when I was a kid lately. And I remember when we were growing up too, the only coffee my dad liked, well, not necessarily the only one he liked, but what he preferred and what we always had at home was the Standard Coffee Man. They came to your house and delivered it. They had a route, and he liked Standard Coffee. But
we got a
off the top of my head that you can't get and so forth. Enjoying the show, I always do.
We got Claude Clymer just walked in here. You was a coffee drinker, weren't you?
I was, beg your pardon?
You were a coffee drinker, weren't you?
Once I got old enough, yes.
Well, now that Neil was just saying the only kind of coffee his daddy would drink was Standard Coffee.
I don't know what kind. My coffee was from
Spot.
Yeah. Me and Bob Abels, I would go around there and have coffee. That's where I learned to get, drink coffee. I'd just been married less than a year and at that point. So went over there to get coffee. On the break, we didn't slip off. We just walked off.
Well, today we're talking about things you can't get anymore, and something you can't get anymore is you can't get your watch repaired anymore now.
You just send it off and get it.
Or just buy another
or
one.
throw it away and get you another.
That's the way a lot of things are. And I didn't realize you couldn't get white wall tires now when you bought a new car. Come think of it, I haven't seen a white wall tire in a while.
That's why.
That's why, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said you have to go to a specialties maker to like Coker's to get some white walls and red line walls.
Yeah.
In the late '60s, the hot rods had the red line walls.
Hey, Neil, are you still there?
Yeah. If you're cheap like me, I bought some narrow line white wall tires and made red lines out of them. I wasn't willing to go to Coker's and pay $800 for the real thing.
Something you can't do anymore is go to Foster's.
But yeah.
You can't go to Foster's anymore, can you, and get anything?
No, you can't. No, they had some good stuff. They had things that a lot of parts houses didn't have. But,
and you can't get. There's no neighborhood groceries anymore like they used to be. Everybody had a neighborhood grocery right down the street from you.
Right.
And John, where was the one out over in East Cleveland you went to?
Garen's Grocery, Cobb Garen.
Cobb Garen.
That's where you went, I imagine, wasn't it?
No.
Where'd you
We went to Owens, Jack Owens Grocery on Galt Street.
Okay, yeah.
Or Vest.
Yeah, Vest. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had Garen's Grocery, then there on the curve you had Vest, and then the Owens was down on Galt Street, but we just lived about 2 blocks from Garen's Grocery, so
See, and that was us.
That was our spot.
We was 2 blocks away from Owens Grocery, and we didn't have to go across the ridge.
Right.
Well, now you got convenience stores, but you can't get any bologna and cheese there and cut off a big round of bologna and cheese. Where did you go out there?
Garen's Grocery. That's where I learned to gamble.
Bob, where did you go out in the country?
Well, Garen's Grocery was on my way to home out to Benton Pike. They's on top of the hill over there. Best Groceries were some of my relatives, first, second cousins, and all that names are familiar. That's on my way. I lived about 7 miles out in the country off Benton Pike.
Yeah.
When I was
So-
a kid, that's where I learned to gamble. Was at
Is that
Garen's
right?
Grocery.
I never.
Yeah, they had
I never heard of that.
the
word,
gumball
gambling.
machines in, and if you got a speckle ball, you'd win a nickel.
Yeah.
So
Now-
we'd sit there and chalk those pennies in after that.
Oh yeah.
After that speckle ball.
Now, didn't Doug Elrod have a grocery store out on Benton
Yes,
Pike
on
in a
out
while?
further. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you go over the hill and then that long straight on
Yeah.
the left.
Where that gas station was later on, I think. it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
See, in Garen's Grocery, they would be open early in the morning. When we'd walk to school, they'd be open. So we'd stop by there on the way to school, especially if we had a nickel.
I can't remember the name of the people, but there was a little bitty store right behind Mayfield Elementary School when I went to school. And we get out of school, and as soon as we get out of school, all the kids would run in there and buy a Tootsie Roll or some kind of candy on the
Oh,
way.
man, if
eat
you
on
had
the way
a quarter
home.
on you, chocolate milk and a Chico stick. Anybody know what a Chico stick
Yeah.
is?
I don't know what it. Oh, I do. Yeah.
Chico stick.
Now I know you three guys particularly will remember something you can't get anymore is Dooley's ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes. That's still on my way on Central Avenue there, on my way home.
It was on our way home, too, a lot of times.
In
that
fact,
was
there
a
used to be a
treat.
little ice place out there on as you turned and go by Vest Grocery out Benton Pike. We used to stop there and get ice to make ice cream with. The old dirt road we lived on, Climber Road was called. Time I got home, had to put the ice back on the old vehicle we had, an old Pontiac. Had the whatever you call it. We just set the ice on there. Time I got home with all the dust and everything, had to wash the ice off to make ice cream with it.
Coal. There was a coal yard there at Poplar Street and Benton Pike when I was growing up.
You can't buy coal anymore either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's somewhere you can buy coal, but I can't tell you where you buy coal at. Maybe somebody calling here. Maybe they'll tell us something here. Hey, go ahead, caller. You're live.
I'll tell you a couple of things you can't get anymore. You can't get a Pepsi Cola for 5 cents.
You can't get nothing for a nickel anymore, Bullet.
And I actually bought a brand new Triumph motorcycle back in '68 for $1,295, and you won't be able to find a motorcycle anymore for $1,200.
You can't find a bicycle for $12.
Well, there are some things you can still get for a nickel.
Like what?
Psychiatric advice from Lucy.
No, I'm fixing to run down your house, Ron, and check that poo for Deb, and I think it's looking good, and we were just lucky that it looks good when we took cover off, man. I hope it lasts all summer like that.
When will it be ready? I got some new swim trunks.
You can go try it right now. It may be a little cool still, but you can go try it.
Yeah, it's already ready to go in. All right, people, good talking to you.
Good
I'll
talking to you,
put
Bill.
my new Hawaiian print swim trunks on and head down to your place.
Do you even remember bunny bread?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When it was delivered to you? Now, I used to thought that was the coolest
My
thing.
favorite was Wonder.
Wonder bread?
Wonder Bread and Wonder Chips. Best potato chip on the planet. Sorry, Lay's. But sorry, Charlie's Chips, but Wonder Chips beat them all.
I never did any Wonder chips.
Oh, man. You missed the blessing.
I had Wonder Chips a few times, usually
have
when I
too.
couldn't get a hold of Lay's, Charlie's.
They were salted just right. They'd melt in your mouth.
So I ate whatever kind of chips Jay Lake brought home from Stony Supermarket out there. Out on Wildwood.
Yeah.
That's what Dad was the butcher in there when he got back from Korea. And that's what whatever chips he brought home is, I guess, whatever sample the salesman gave him.
Well, I'm
that
not
day.
saying I ever turned down a chip, but I'm just saying Wonder Chips was my favorite. I'd eat any chip.
Growing up, I don't know, we listened to WFLI radio, rock and
Tommy
roll,
Jet.
Tommy Jet and all that. Now, Claude, you are a little older than us. So what did you listen to the local radio station, or did Jet Flight come on yet?
Well, we listened to anything that we could get on their radio. It was a big old long battery. See, I didn't have electricity till I was a senior in high school. Telephone came at the same time. Several people on the line, but is interested. And but now we were able to get WSM, Grand Ole Opera. That was our main program for our Saturday night was our special night, you know. Nothing. We listened to that. Then Sunday night, I believe, Squeaking Door and all that scary stories. And so, us kids, I remember just real young. And I never was one to get scared, but I had two brothers younger, Lake and Calvin, and they kind of get scared of those Squeaking Door programs because they'd squeaking door and then they'd be talking, you know. All those programs were interesting.
See, rock and roll ruined us.
Yeah.
Yes,
Whoa.
yes, we got rock and roll.
Rock and roll made me.
Yeah.
Made me what I is today.
Party lines. Claude just mentioned party lines. We
Oh,
had those
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Learn all kinds of things about your neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, everybody pick up when the phone rung. I didn't know I had a special ring.
You didn't know you were special now,
Yeah,
of course.
you're supposed to have the long and the short or something. That was you, or you go.
I think there was only one other line because it's just 3/4 of a mile from my house to the Benton Pike. That's where I caught the school bus. And by the way, the school bus would turn around up there at Guerin's Grocery.
Yeah.
Fred Longworth was school bus driver. And the time we got there, we were loaded. Then we turned around there and went by Michigan Avenue School and let off some and picked up some to go to high school. Interesting time, but my, how times passed.
Now, was that Preacher Longworth?
No, Preacher was older.
Okay.
I think he was older. He lived on Benton Pike.
Now, Preacher was a bondsman, wasn't he, at one time? I believe. Wasn't he, John?
Yeah, he was.
His teacher was Virgie Lawson. I believe Virgie was her name. She was my fourth grade teacher. Preacher's wife. She was a Calfee.
Calfee, okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Small world.
I don't think you can get these anymore, but usually right after we'd gamble a little bit in that gumball machine at Cobb Guerin's place, we'd get us a pack of candy cigarettes and just mosey on, on down the road,
Up to town.
you know, like we were smoking.
I like
Remember candy cigarettes?
Oh, yeah, I
had
like the
little
bubblegum cigars.
red painted bubblegum cigars and candy cigarettes, and throw a few pennies in the machine there at Cobb Guerin's.
Oh, yeah, you were big time, weren't you?
Oh, shoot, one morning three speckled balls dropped out at one time. Son, I had 15 cents in my pocket. I about went crazy. I couldn't decide what to buy. You know, you get a Chico stick for a nickel or a candy bar for a nickel and a drink for a nickel. I had a nickel left. Wonder how I got robbed on the way to school. They would have robbed me, but I looked too doggone tough with that candy cigarette hanging out the corner of my mouth.
Yeah, but one bad dude.
I was one bad dude, buddy.
One of my favorites was that little Guess What package.
Oh.
Yeah,
Man, Guerin's had those all the time. You didn't know what was in it.
That's right.
It might just be a bunch of crap, or there might be something good in there.
That's one of my favorites.
They would have a box full of them sitting right there at the checkout, and you'd sit there and eyeball it and say, "This might be my day. There might be a watch in there or a diamond ring."
Did you ever get anything good?
I don't remember. It's been a few years ago. I don't even remember the price.
Now, I got one time that had a good candy bar in it, and there was a little plastic toy, but normally there'd be some pieces of candy in there, maybe some penny candy.
You can't get anything good in Cracker Jacks now.
A clothespin.
That's another thing that's interesting.
Yeah, Cracker Jacks. We used to get little pinball things there that you could
Oh,
swallow.
the only thing you get out of Cracker Jacks now is tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lick 'em and stick 'em.
Oh, man. Well, my mother always bought Crystal oats. There's always a dish in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you get a
So,
dish of glass.
things like that you don't see anymore. I don't think.
No, you don't. There was a little white candy. It sort of had a candy crust on it. Inside of it was a little peanut butter and had brown stripes on it. It was called something kind of log. You can't get those anymore. But now you can go to some place like the dollar store and they got them for sale. And when you unwrap it, the brown stripe is on the paper. and not on the candy. I felt it so. Now the candy still tastes. Did you remember what it is? It was still
No, but I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you call them, but But
they were usually right there next to the. They had these little. They're not candies, but they were little wax Coke bottles.
Yeah.
And basically just had some colored sugar water in it, but it was sweet and tastes like Kool-Aid. And you just pop it in your mouth, give it one good bite, and that little splash of sugar drink would.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
No, and then you'd chew on that doggone wax bottle for the rest of the day, like it was some chewing gum.
Hey, good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Or make candles out of it.
Are you there? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Are you there?
Hey, are you there?
This is your conscience.
We're
speaking.
losing you there. Are you on your cell phone? Try calling us back. We can't hear you there. Your cell phone.
Hello?
Hello, we hear you now.
Hey, Ron. Oh,
I'm sorry. Your phone's cutting in and out. Call us back and see if we can get a better signal there. Try to call us back and get a better signal there. We're just losing you in and out there.
That's one of those psychic calls.
There was one of those things you can't get anymore, good phone calls.
You can't get a rotary phone anymore, that's for sure.
No.
Man, I remember when they first came out and they talk about technological advance. The phone that hung on the wall.
Oh, wasn't that great?
Man, oh man, we were tickled to death. One hanging right on the kitchen wall. Normally you had one phone as a rotary phone set in the living room, and if you wanted to talk, you went and sat down in that chair and talked. Right. But all of a sudden you had one that hung on the wall. Remember the little slim lines?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Then you had a 14-foot cord on it. That was really great.
Heck yeah, walk right around the corner.
Hey, go ahead, caller. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
you're right. Let's call a peanut butter log you was thinking about.
Peanut butter log. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Money doing in there.
Do what?
Big John, money.
Big John, money. That's him.
Yeah, I'm not talking to him in the. Me and old Redford used to beat me out of all the money. We'd play that card, the scratch off game. John would be down there in the morning.
Oh yeah. I used to bring those scratch off lottery tickets in here when I did my radio show, and we'd have callers call in. We'd scratch one off, and then I'd split whatever we won with you. We had several some $50 winners and 25. Most of it was.
Oh, wow! I had him. She used to beat me every morning trying to win that money.
I tell you, my wife bought a little. It's called a Lucky Sevens for $1.
Yeah.
And scratched off won $777.
When first I got a few of them.
And I talked her into giving me half of it.
That's a good woman.
Yeah.
All right, you guys keep listening. Bye.
All right, thank you. Peanut butter log. I remember those very good. There was another candy that used to be there. It was called the 7-Up bar.
Yeah.
It had 7 sections in it, and one had like a nougat in it. The other one had orange jelly, and one had.
It didn't last long.
Oh no, it was a popular thing. Everybody had a 7-Up bar. You never ate a 7-Up bar?
I may have had one. That was a little bit extravagant for us. We whatever I bought candy wise is what I bought from selling Coke bottles, cashing Coke bottles in for the. You got to remember I'm the oldest of 8. We didn't go around buying too much of that stuff, but when we did, it was a treat.
When I used to have those goodies, I gathered up leather cans, tin cans, anything. That's during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Take them up to Coffee's grocery store. Had a little homemade wagon that I had made, and wheels and all. And I'd take it up there a little. I used as my hauling bucket, I'd call it, was a dynamite box. Back then you had dynamites in a box. So I had one because I remember my dad was opening up a new ground. It's a stump there so big that we had to blow it out of the ground. And I remember him hooking up that, but I don't know where he got the other. Oh, he did work at used to be out on Hancock Road. There's a rock quarry where they, crushed rock, and the old quarry's still there. We used to go there for a swimming pool, a swimming place. Beautiful, but so dangerous. But we knew exactly. My dad used to work there. In fact, in bursting rock, that was his thing back then. After he was in World War I, so as a veteran, he got a job there at the rock quarry. But one time he was bursting the rock for some reason. I didn't know too much about it, but it flew and hit him in the eye. Put one of his eyes, his left eye, I believe it was, out. So, there's experiences and things that comes due now that I hadn't thought of in years and years and years. And I was delighted to pick up old shoe leather, just anything to take and at Coffee's Grocery, get me a few pennies, get me some candy. I was happy. I'd go looking for more.
Collecting.
If you
Coke
take in a
bottles.
box full of stuff in a store now, they go, get that out of here.
Yeah.
The only way you get things in a store is to have money now.
Well, right down the side of the street and see a Coke bottle that was thrown out in the ditch, man, you stopped and grabbed that thing because that was 2 cents.
Now,
Yeah, my brother Ray and I, we had our favorite spots, though. We had some honey holes, we called it. Oh yeah, we were lucky enough that we lived near a couple of really good bootleggers, and most of the old timers would go by there, and when they would buy them some drinks, some liquor, or moonshine or whatever, they'd usually have a bottle of Coke. And they'd drink some of that Coke, and then they'd fill it the rest of the way up with some liquor and carry that around, drink it. And there was one little beer joint down there that we'd go by and we'd collect up bottles. Usually after the weekend, there'd be Coke bottles all over the place.
Well, now, John, did you ever? I started this from learning geography.
Oh no!
But we would find old Coke bottles, and we would bet on who found the Coke bottle that was the farthest away.
Yeah.
So you had to know geography to decide who won.
Yeah.
Because we knew Los Angeles was farther away than Nashville, but we weren't sure about Atlanta and Nashville. We used to have a heck of an argument. And usually the biggest kid won. So that's how that worked out, But every Coke bottle had where it was bottled at, And sometimes you say if you found a Cleveland bottle, it was automatic winner. Although it wasn't the farthest way, it's just the fact is you didn't see as many Cleveland bottles as that.
Let me tell you, one year RC Cola put they did it an entire year. You pop the cap off, and inside that cap there would be a colored diamond, depending on whether it was black or red or what color it was, what kind of prize you'd win. And we racked up that year because we'd be collecting bottles, and you'd always find bottle caps laying out next to them. And matter of fact, we pulled up one and won an entire case of RC Cola. We rolled our wagon down to Garen's grocery, loaded up, and rolled them back to the house, and drank till we were sick.
You and Ray didn't hide them from the rest of the kids, did you?
Well, we yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't any point in wasting it on the little brothers and sisters. It was our stash.
Hey, folks, we're going to take our mid-morning break here. You're listening to Old Town Cleveland and things you can't get this morning. We got John Cook and Arnold Tarpley in here, and our good friend Claude Clymer stopped by, and he's been in here telling he's a different generation than us, and that's not a bad thing. He remembers more than I do, and he's a little older than me. I don't know how you do that, how you continue to remember so good. We'll be back here in a few minutes with Old Town Cleveland. Don't forget, we play Gone Home for all those people who's lost a loved one this week. This song's dedicated to them. We'll be back in a few minutes.
On the dog time. And you're listening to WOOPLP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Checking the cash, you got a brand new choice. Our flexible loans really making noise. Flex your money, my soul. Flex your money, my soul.
A check into cash flex loan puts you in control. Visit your nearest store for details.
Shape a flex loan to fit your needs. Make your next loan a flex loan and set yourself free. Flex your money muscle at checking the cash.
Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Yeah, you looking for something sweet? I know you are. Bring your little sweet self to the Village Bake Shop. Around since 1961, there ain't a baked good in the galaxy. The Village Bake Shop can't whip up for you. So when you're ready to treat your mouth to a taste you won't soon forget, get over to the Village Bake Shop in the Village Green Town Center. Or give them a call at 476-5179. You dig?
Matthews Pool and Spa Company, located in Cleveland, Bradley County for over 45 years. You know them. They're your new swimming pool construction and supply company in Cleveland, Tennessee, now with 4 generations of Matthews to serve you. Matthews Pool and Spa Company, for over 45 years, your swimming pool construction and supply company, spa or hot tub installation and maintenance. Get all of your supplies for your pool or spa right now. That's the new location in the old Quinn Electric Company building behind KFC at 2724 Key Street in Cleveland. Call Matthews now, 476-4521. You better get your order in now for your new pool construction for this spring and summer. 476-4521. Matthews Pool and Spa Company. Gonna jump in. Woo!
All of my friends that I loved yesterday have gone. They have gone home. Gone home. They have gone home. The songbirds are singing, the dells seem to say, gone. They have gone home. Gone. They have gone home. They've joined the heavenly fold. They're walking the streets of pure gold. They left one by one as the work here was done. Gone home. They have gone home. Gone home. They have gone home. Life here is lonely since they've gone before. Gone. They have gone home. Gone. They have gone home. The old weeping willow that stands by the door sadly sighs. They have gone home. Gone home. They have gone home. They've joined the heavenly fold. They're walking the streets of pure gold. They left one by one as the work here was done. Gone home. They have gone home. Gone home. They have gone home. They've joined the heavenly fold. They're walking the streets of pure gold. They left one by one as their work here was done. Gone home. They have gone home. Gone home. They have gone home. Where'd the old town go?
Trust me.
Welcome back to Old Town Cleveland here on Whoop FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.whoopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553. If you're out of town, use 423-614-5553. We got John Cook and Arnold Tarpley here. We're talking about things you can't get anymore, and we're real glad to have Claude Clymer come in and see us there for a few
John
minutes.
won't get to see his cane anymore because Claude has decided that looks really nice for him. I wanted just to mention that we need to remember Officer Justin Maples that died 5 years ago today. Yeah. We just want to remember him and his family today.
And that song, Gone Home's gone for them, too. Hey, good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Doc Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood, how are you?
Oh, boys, things you can't get anymore. Good subject today here.
Disco music.
Yeah, oh, yes. I get a shameless plug in right quick. Class of 82 reunion tonight. Guys, it could be big.
Go ahead.
It could be a record-setting crowd out there in front of the bistro and radio station as we anticipate a minimum of 200.
Oh, that's sweet.
200.
Well, and it looks like by looking at your schedule here on Facebook that you're going to have a great time. You're going to, from 7 to 8, y'all are going to have a little social hour and cocktail hour, some wood-grilled pizza.
Yep.
8:30, you're going to have a moment of silence and all going to sing the Altamont.
Altamont, yeah. We got
I can't even say it.
Alternative version to Looks Like We Made It theme song from the class of 1982.
I'll tell you something else we don't see anymore.
What's that, Arnold?
Doc with short hair.
That's right.
Yeah.
Doc needs to keep his hair. As long as it'll stay with him, he needs to keep it.
Or at least in a jar.
Then they're going to have at 8:30 to 9 a DJ Fro Daddy dance and music and karaoke.
And from 4 to 7 is the radio reunion, right?
That's right. They're going to have a raffle drawing, Rubik's Cube.
Yep, Rubik's Cube.
Explain that to me.
It was featured at the class of, the class trip 1982 World's Fair, our class trip, and it was featured up there by New York, had a big oversized Rubik's Cube, and I guess that we adopted that as our toy of choice. That's one thing you don't see as much as you did. You know, there was a stretch in the early 80s between 80 and I think 84 was over 2 million of those Rubik's Cubes sold. Where do they all go?
Not my house. I could get the red side fixed. I couldn't get the blue side fixed, but I could get the red side fixed.
No.
It will be a big day, guys. Gary Ornby is a late addition to the 4 to 7 show. Be pushing his books there, and he may hang around a little bit into the reunion formal and see if he can get a few sales out of his books. So glad he was agreed to join us late there.
Sounds good.
100% of the profit goes to athletics at Bradley High School.
And those are good books.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely. I think either I've given mine away or misplaced them, so I'm going to be purchasing one of each fresh off the press from Jared and Nat. Absolutely there. You know, tonight, it ends a long 15-month odyssey for me. Ron, as you and I met at a local sports bar there back, as I've mentioned before, I guess it was February, March of 2016. We did the Truett, the Taylor's thing, and now it's the Bradley thing, which is kind of a given, but long 15-month odyssey. I don't know what I'm going to do with the withdrawal I'm going to go through. I've hooked up with people, met up with them, reconnected. I hadn't seen in over 40 years. It's been an incredible 15-month journey for me.
Well, all you got to do is come in here on Saturday night sometime and do disco.
That's something I guess you can't get anymore by flipping on the radio. I don't think there's any radio stations featuring that specific genre there. 70s, 80s R&B and disco, and certainly not the one and only Doc and Solid Gold Dancers.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Y'all set me up a little booth outside their reunion tonight.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sell some little gift bags with being gay and Pepto-Bismol. Everybody as they leave.
You should have been at our reunion a few weeks ago. We probably could have used it more than this much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, I wanted just to mention, I saw this on Facebook the other day, so surely it must be true. It says that Armed Forces Day is the third Saturday of each May, honoring those serving. Memorial Day is the last Monday of each May, remembering those who died while serving. And Veterans Day, the 11th day each November, honors those who served.
Okay.
Straighten that all out, because you never get that one right.
11th day at the 11th hour is usually when they have the presentation. Right.
Yes.
Well, great. Well, honor all our veterans.
11th.
Current or past. And so now, what else can't you get anymore? You know, we talk
My
about
list.
You can't get kerosene.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
True coal oil kerosene that you used to use for cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when you used to get a cut or a scratch, you could put a little kerosene on it, and that sucker wouldn't get sore, and it'd heal up pretty good. You couldn't put today's kerosene on there.
Dad never used kerosene. He used paint thinner.
Woo!
Paint thinner.
Mercy.
Wow. We used kerosene where I was.
Mm-hmm.
What did you use, Tom, when you got scratched or cut?
Man, mercurochrome was on
Yeah.
That's good stuff, Owen.
I'd light you up.
Slap some mercury on it.
You can't get no mercurochrome anymore.
That's because, yeah.
Hey,
mercury.
go ahead, caller. You're live.
This is Marilyn.
Hey, Marilyn.
I don't know what you can't get, but you can get fish at the Southeastern Farmers Co-op. Fish truck this guy.
All righty, down at the co-op, the fish truck is there. For those of you who've ordered fish or you'd like to see if you could pick some fish up for your pond, head on down to the Farmers Co-op in the next few minutes.
And that Bradley graduation was some more crowd.
Yes, I saw the cars going in before 8 o'clock this morning.
I got there at 8 o'clock, and part of the parking lots were already full.
Yes.
Well, now, is it over now?
I don't know. Kaylee was one of the first ones that graduated right behind the honors group, and I bailed so I could come and check on T because he hadn't been driving, and he drove himself to the co-op.
Uh-oh, everybody stay away from the co-op.
Yeah, stay. Bradley Farmer Co-op, Blue Springs Road is off limit.
Well, he's here, and hopefully I'll get him to let me take him home and get somebody to bring me back to get the truck.
Yeah, well, I can help you with that this afternoon if I need to.
Okay.
All righty.
But
Don't get too hot out there.
it was nice, and
How many kids did they graduate? Do you know?
we couldn't get any more. I heard Ron say something about bunny bread. You know, T delivered bunny bread door to door.
Mm-hmm. I think you can still find it in Pigeon Forge, but that's the only place I ever see it.
Every once in a while. But there's nobody comes and knocks on your door at 7:30 in the morning.
And sells you bread. Nope, not anymore.
It's dangerous for anybody to knock on anybody's door. That's just something people don't do anymore.
Nope, I don't want them to knock on my door.
Somebody knocks on your door, you go, wonder who
What
that
you
is.
want?
I remember when I was in high school, I think it was Seal Test that delivered milk and cottage cheese and stuff when we lived on Daddy off the Spring Place down there.
Oh, I don't remember things like that. Nope.
Yeah, but I vaguely remember that. But yeah, they don't deliver too much of it. Well, you can get the meals delivered now.
Yeah, that's kind of a funny turn, isn't it?
Yeah, they.
If you got enough money, you can get anything delivered.
That's right.
Amazon will send it to you.
By drone.
Yes, by drone. Just
drop it in the yard. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I'll tell you something you can't get anymore is a set of encyclopedias.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, you can't even give away the set you got.
You were somebody if you had a set of
I did not have encyclopedias.
I had encyclopedias, and what I really loved, every year after that, you paid for a new yearbook.
Yes.
Yeah, update.
Oh, and I tell you what, I did have, and I bet you guys didn't.
What's that?
When I was, I guess 18 or 19. Of course, I was out of high school, but I got myself a set of Funk and Wagnall encyclopedias.
I never had
Have
a
you
Funk
ever
and
seen
Wagnall.
a complete set of Funk and Wagnall encyclopedias? And they were pretty. They weren't Britannica.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think I may have ended
they
up with
make
a set
fun
of
of 'em.
those at the railroad salvage place.
They
you
make
know?
fun of them on Laugh-In all the time, according to Funkin' Wagnall, but I actually owned a set of Funkin'
Well, you had to
Wagnall.
have something. I remember.
What did you do with your set of Funko Wagnalls?
I read the suckers.
Now, what did you do with them? What happened to them?
Oh, I ended up selling them in a yard sale for.
I still have my Botanica.
His cyclist. Yeah, he does.
We did up
And
to
when
this
our
a few
kids-
years ago, and then we sold them because they were just.
When our
Hey,
kids were in high
it's
school and they're
entire
trying to Google stuff, I'd walk in there and get that. And I said, well, right here it is, all of it on 2 pages.
30-something volumes plus the atlases. And
Yeah.
Something that I think is the number one thing for me is a phone book. Some way to find a phone number for somebody. Even you can't even Google it. And
Well,
get
people
it.
don't have home phones as much anymore, so there is.
But that's
no,
the number one
I don't
thing.
know if
Try to
they
find
still-
you a phone book these days.
I've got one, but it's old.
Mine's like 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all in the I think I saw in the paper graduates was 423 this year.
Yeah, that's about the size that my class was 100 years ago.
Okay, now here's something you can't get anymore. It's a shame. There'll be a lot of young men out there who will remember this. In honor, Miller Highlight Ponies.
Yep.
The little 8-ounce.
8 ounce or 12 ounce? Maybe?
No,
8 ounce.
It was an 8 ounce.
Or is it 6 ounce?
Maybe a 6 ounce. It was. You got 8 of them in a little carton, and you pay for it. And that was cool to have your own little short bottle, and you could see the liquid going out. It wasn't like a can or something like that. So Miller Pony. Did you ever drink any of those, John?
No, never was a beer guy. I was a wine fella.
I didn't either.
I was a Boone's Farm.
Farm.
Boone's Farm, strawberry.
$1.15.
$1.15.
Right in the bottle. Hey, go ahead, caller. You're live.
Hey, this is RD.
Hey, RD.
Come down, talk to the town. I'll buy you a Miller Lite Pony.
All right. They have them down there?
Yeah, they got them down there, $1 a piece.
So I didn't know they were still making those.
Yeah, I don't know where they get them. They might have them buried out back for a couple decades.
Well, at least they're aged.
They was aged.
So, no, they got them. They got them down there. So
That was always the treat for, if you snuck and got one of those and sit on the back road and drunk the beer, you thought you were cool. We wouldn't drink going through town because we didn't want Snow Kaler to catch us.
yeah, I remember Michigan. There was a place that when I grew up as a young man, they made a cider mill. They made a hand pressed cider, and you could buy it right there. As it came out. I always missed that. Was a really cool place to go. So I don't know of any place around you can get fresh cider anymore.
Oh, I don't either.
So.
Well, out at the Apple Valley Orchard,
At the Apple Valley, I think they do.
they sell it. I assume it's fresh there. It's good.
That's pretty cool. That and that and homemade cracklings.
Yeah, yep, made those.
I mean, unless you can go, you can actually still go down to the carniceria there, the Mexican place, but then you can get them there. But we used to just get them. Grandpa would cook them up. That was a big wintertime treat for us. So
It was Ron the first time he saw one of those giant meat skins in the Mexican stores.
Yeah, them things like 4 foot long and 2
You say,
foot
I need
wide.
this much, and they just
Now
saw
that-
it off.
That's some pork skins there.
I'll tell you what. Now I will tell you this: is I like to cook in the little bags of spices they got. The Mexican oregano. That's the best oregano you can buy.
It's usually cheaper, too.
It is cheaper and it is absolutely delicious. So.
Well, see, they don't have to go through the inspection or nothing.
No, they don't. You're just on your own.
They're selling quarter-ounce bags, half-ounce bags, stuff like that. Hey, y'all take care. Now I got to get back out to the garden.
All righty, bye-bye.
Let's see.
I'll tell you something that I've needed several times in the last few years is a good 8mm film projector.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. It'd be nice.
You can't even buy a refurbished one on eBay.
It's
Now-
like Fostex recorders. You can't buy those either. Go ahead, caller. You're live.
Hey, you guys talking about things you can't get anymore, and you may have already talked about this, but any of you guys ever wear one of those leisure suits?
I still got about 3 in my closet that I can't wear.
some things we're glad we can't get anymore.
Worst thing I ever saw in my life was my mom at some secondhand shop brought in a lime green leisure suit for my dad to wear to a funeral. It was lime green with white stitching, and even as a poor child, I thought to myself, that's ugly. I would not wear that.
What?
He did. I think he even had a matching tie.
What else you saying?
What about them bell-bottom pants?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, no, I had bell bottoms, with my Beetle boots.
I had a pair of plaid bell bottoms that I wore to high school just once because I was so shamelessly made fun of that I never wore them.
There was a special award at our reunion for one of the boys got for plaid pants.
Oh, no, I had some plaid pants. Now, that's something I don't think I haven't seen a pair of plaid breeches walking around.
Them plaid pants, them were golf course pants.
That's golf course, yeah. Well, the problem with plaid pants and my build is that the plaids are just stretched a little bit when I wear them. They're not in straight lines.
They could cause vertigo. People walking out looking at you.
Hey, I need to, Debbie, I need to see if I can find out some history information. I need to talk to you off the air sometime.
Okay, well, you want to just ask me on the air real fast?
Or you want, I can hand you the phone real quick.
Well, I can. I just hate that. What I'm looking for is, I don't know if you know the place or not. It was called Maples Chair Factory.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
House Maples.
Wait a minute. What? Go ahead.
It's in South Cleveland. I'm doing a book on South Cleveland, and I'm trying to find out the date that thing burned. All the research I've done, I cannot find the date.
My dad worked there.
Yeah,
for
House
a little while
Maples.
before.
Yeah, House
after
Maples
Collins
owned
shut
it.
down, he went over and worked for my.
Well, I tell you what, everybody's listening, and somebody out there will know because they worked there at the time, and maybe they'll call in and tell you. I started to say, I'm really going to be able to help. Who is this?
It's Charles Boland.
Oh, hey, Charles. I have a picture of the house that was down there.
It's down there by the bridge, down there.
The McReynolds house or Reynolds house?
I'm not sure what the house was.
Yes.
Well, somebody gave me, Joe Godfrey gave me a picture of that a few years ago, and I posted it on Facebook, and people gave me a lot of information about it, but that won't help you any in this search. But when you said that, my brain went, well, that was right next to the box company down in that neighborhood. What else do you need from South Cleveland?
Well, I've got pretty much the other information that I need. It's I'm trying to find out the date that thing burned, because, what fascinates me is back then, whenever you had an emergency vehicle go by, people jumped in their cars and
chased it down. Yep.
They would, today we got all the emergency vehicles going, but now used to, we'd have people, if you saw a fire truck go by, you jumped in the car and you followed it to see what was going on.
Now you jump on Facebook and somebody will tell you.
Exactly. So it's just a different time and a different period. I'm thinking it was sometime early to mid '60s.
I think it's going to be later than that, isn't it, John?
Think so?
Yeah.
I think John would have been out of high school probably a couple of years when. I say it was House Maples ran it, because my dad sold him foam products down there for the chair factory.
Well, your dad was selling foam products in the late '70s.
Yes. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
So it's going to be a little bit later than that, we think.
Roy Maples, he owned it, and he had several sons that worked with him, and I guess they're all.
Now, is it Roy? Is that the one they called House?
I can't remember if he had a nickname or not.
We always called him House Maples, and I don't know. Now, Don Maples Jr. is still alive, and that's his nephew, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Now, he might be able to help you. I don't know where to find him at. He's here in Cleveland, though.
Well, I appreciate it. Maybe somebody's got the...
Well, maybe they'll let us know. Thanks, Charles.
Hey, thanks for calling in. Thanks for reminding me of plaid pants. Bye-bye. Somebody mentioned Sills Test Milk in Happy Valley. You can't get those anymore. Now, Happy Valley is actually owned by Flavor Rich now, but it don't come from the farm down on what is Ringo there or Rossville?
Yeah.
Was
down that area.
Yeah, Happy Valley Farms.
Yeah.
But I think they're that farm is closed. But I think they were bought out by Flavor Rich. Somebody's calling. Good morning, you live on Old Town Cleveland.
Yeah, Ron, this is Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, what was that guy wanting to know? I couldn't understand him.
He wants to know about when Maple's chairs burned down on South End down there.
Maple's Chair Company. When did it burn?
I don't remember it burning. I know Austin Maples owned it. Now, Roy Maple,
That's right. Austin was one we called House.
What?
Yeah. Now, Philip Foscue burned up on top of the hill up there, right at the bridge, because my dad was the manager there. That was an old chair factory. Then it became Philip Foscue, and it burned.
Yeah, and I think they moved down there on Blue Springs. That was out there on Old Coy Street. Was that where that old permanent place is?
Yeah, that's what it was. Right down below there. Matter of fact, the old building burned, and then they built Philip Foscue back down in that building, and that's the plumbing place now.
Yeah, Austin Maples owned it back when I worked there. And the company out of Michigan bought it. And Roy Maples, Austin son, bought it. And it was Roy's till they closed it up.
Okay, well, think about that fire. You know, I can't remember either, but I'm going to sort of look back and check. But it'd been in the 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah, long about the last in the 70s. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll check on it and look at see if you can get it through your mind. I can't get through anything through my mind quick anymore.
Yeah, tell Debbie that was Reynolds' place.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
I posted that on Facebook, and there was a couple of guys that had worked down there and had talked to her, and just got a big kick out of seeing that picture. So I'm glad you gave it to me, and I'm glad it was saved.
Okay.
Thank
you. Got you some more if I ever get down there. Some more stuff if I ever get down there and give it to you.
Come on
down. You need to get it to me. Bye-bye.
We'll see, Joe. Thanks.
Joe gave me a Christmas cactus, too, and an old ice cream bucket. You know, one of those plastic buckets, and it's just happy as it can be. It's a pretty plant now.
Good people like Joe who find old pictures and share them with us, and we'd like to thank Joe for always being. Joe worked out at Martin Princess Theater.
Mm-hmm.
He was down there a long time. Something else you can't get is the diaper delivery and pickup. I think that might be a good thing. You can't get that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember.
I don't even think, can you still get cloth diapers?
Well, the problem is some babies have to have them. They're allergic to the disposable
Do you remember
ones.
washing dirty diapers? Oh, my gosh.
Look like Crayola crayon got 50 on them.
Go ahead, caller. You're live.
Good morning, Debbie. How are you?
I'm fine, Joe. How are you?
Well, I feel a little better than I did, but I'll make it. But I just wanted to tell John, I really appreciate him being on there this morning. I get more kick out of that man.
Arnold, she wants him to write a song about the day that he fed his little Easter chick rice and killed him.
Blew my chick up.
Blew my chick up.
And P-Dab just about wraps me up. I'm telling you.
You know, don't encourage him, Joe. I mean, goodness gracious. We have a hard enough time putting up with him.
Well, shoot, he's good to be there.
Hey, I'm just living life on the edge.
Well, let me tell you, John and I and my son, we're leaving here after the show today, and we're going to the Guitar Museum down in Chattanooga, and we're going to go to the private tour and go into the vault. John's going to be in hog heaven seeing all these old guitars down there.
Oh, okay.
What we're trying to do is say, don't take your gun. You know you cannot rob them. He said, let me loan one there for a few days?
I'd like to bring a few of them back home.
Well, I can imagine. But I tell you what he does. Him and P-Dab just absolutely, they just rock me out of my rockers when they come on.
Well, and we'd be glad to have little P-Dab back.
You know what else? You know what else gets you tickled?
Pardon?
You know what else gets you tickled? Jack Daniels.
Oh.
You drink a couple bottles of Jack Daniels, you just get to giggling.
He gets a kick out of picking on you.
I get spiritual when I drink.
I'm used to all this, Debbie, so
Okay.
I think nothing of it.
Well, we always enjoy your calls, Joe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Talk to you next week.
Bye-bye. See you next
Bye-bye.
week. Joe just he says there is an AA meeting near you, so
A fan.
Well, now, a couple of years ago, I said, I'm tired of buying these little plastic brooms with these little plastic ends on them that, the whole broom falls apart and doesn't last any time. We went up to the Mennonite farm up in Delano, and they had handmade brooms for sale.
Man.
And I tell you, those little Amish women must have big old muscles, because that's the heaviest broom I've ever picked up in my life.
and we still have it.
We still have it. It doesn't look like it's ever been used. It's got the real straw on the end and a real wooden
I don't
handle.
think I've seen a real broom in
I've got one at the house that we've had since I was a kid.
You know why it looks like it's never been used? I'm not going there.
Don't go there.
I'll tell you something else that I miss.
What's
seeing.
that?
Front porches with chairs and swings and people sitting in them.
Oh, yeah. I have plenty of chairs, but nobody ever sits in them.
Yeah, man, wasn't that something, growing up? I remember going to my grandpa's house down in Tinga, Georgia, and you fought over the swing on the front porch, and then he had one of them glider things, and if you could sit on that, you were big time, and we'd just sit there.
Yeah.
And we never had a swing like that on our front porch, but we had a couple of Collins recliners after they migrated from the living room to the porch, and then from there they went out and they were yard furniture.
That's right, yeah.
Kind of had the circle of life there.
We had a swing on our front porch on Poplar. Then when we moved over to Millen, we moved that swing with us. It's on the front porch over there. And it just finally fell apart about 10 years ago, I think it was. But that swing was in the family all those years, and we used it. That's something that I miss.
The funniest thing I ever saw, my wife Tracy a few weeks ago bought her a swing. It's a chair.
Uh-huh.
And she went out in the backyard. She ran over to Ace Hardware and bought a rope. And
This is not going to end well.
Threw a rope up across the limb in a tree, hauled this chair up, tied the rope off, and she hopped in that chair. Apparently that rope has a little bit of elastic or give to it. She hopped in the chair and it just slowly went down. She was sitting on the ground. Just look on her face.
You were trying to figure out whether you should laugh or not.
Oh, I was laughing.
Oh, I was thought you were going to say, and here come the limb down,
Yeah.
Nope. She sat down in it and it just slowly
Did something that's missing that kids today don't know what they're missing. It's when that J.C. Penney's Christmas catalog used to arrive.
Or Sears.
Sears.
Oh,
I'd go straight to the music section. Those Silvertone.
I'd circle everything in the book and get none of it.
Now they always the brands they sold in there were Silvertone and K.
Mm-hmm.
I think my very first guitar was a K guitar, K-A-Y. Now you pay big money for those things.
Well, and you'd order something out of any of the catalogs, and man, you could get it in just 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Silvertone had a guitar that had a built-in amp in the case.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are worth a lot of money today. I could have bought one a couple years ago, and I said, I just bought a brand new Les Paul, or well, not brand new Les Paul, new to me, and I just didn't want to spend any more money on guitar.
Now, when the new catalog came out, the old catalog went out to the outhouse, which was,
those slick pages just didn't.
They didn't work that well.
The slick pages in those
You
newer
could
catalogs weren't as good.
wipe and
Back on track, guys.
best thing was just some good old newspaper.
Smooth rock.
Okay, something else.
Smooth rocks.
And we'd tear up those coal bags and use them sometimes in the outhouse. But
Something
that
that
was
you
a
didn't.
mess.
You see me trying to change here, Arnold.
Yeah,
help
I
me.
see
help me.
that.
She's trying.
Okay.
Well, you brought up the wish book.
Something that used to be everywhere that you don't see anymore is a phone booth.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was one. We all knew where the payphones were. I never used them, but I knew where they were in case I needed one.
Yeah.
Yep. I think there may be one down by the shelf still that you drive up and sit in your car, but I haven't seen a phone booth in
I
it.
think they've taken it down.
Yeah.
Something that you don't see anymore was at our reunion. Steve McCurry, who was a guest on the show here in January, has a man cave, and in his man cave, he has one of the menu boards from the Rebel North.
Oh.
With the call box and everything that you used to set out in the car and order your
That'd be cool.
deals.
Yeah, that'd be. I don't know what I'd do with it. Just put a light in it and go, hey, look what I got. You know. Did your daddy wear a hat?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You know what? Back
If
in
he
the
went
50s,
outside, he had a hat on.
one of
You
the
can't-
little bitty hats. You know, and I know my grandpa wore one. He put his pistol underneath it because he said if he's ever about to get robbed and it's going to kidnap him, he said, wait a minute, I got to get my hat, and that way he'd get his gun.
Mm-hmm. My dad had a dress hat and like a cap to wear, like we went fishing and stuff. And he had a straw hat that he wore in his garden. And you didn't touch his hats.
But
No.
I don't remember when hats stopped. Was it probably early 60s hats sort of went out?
Well, a little bit later than that. I think probably Kennedy was the first one not to wear hats, but Funny Jackie did. And so women started wearing hats.
Pillbox hats.
Pillbox hats. But, I mean, Johnson wore a hat all the time.
Well, I've got a picture of me when I was 6 months old sitting on the hood of the car, and Mom and Dad on each side, and Dad was wearing one of those.
What do you call them little hats?
It looked like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
They did. I don't know. Everybody wore them. My dad wore them all the time.
And I say you can't see now is a big grand opening of the new cars that are coming out. You know, I know
Arnold's dad knew all about that.
They used to hide the cars and everything.
I actually knew the secret hiding place. I saw him early.
Yeah, and you get to see them. But now, I don't even know when the new cars come out. You know, like
couple of good-looking ladies standing there pointing at them.
Probably 2018s are already out now, and people are driving them. I don't know when they start and don't start anymore.
Well, I say used to is it pretty much designated the 1st of September, first week of September.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see the new cars hit the showrooms. And today, they just bring them out anytime. You just never know when they're
You never know. Guys, you know how you could tell the middle class from the people that weren't quite as well off as the middle class? The middle class people would buy a TV guide book, and the other guys would get the free one at the grocery store that they gave you when you bought groceries. And my mom would save those little cardboard trifold TV guides, and she would have us put our foot on it, and she'd trace around the outside of our foot and make us a new insole for our shoes, because the insoles would wear out.
Hey, you had no way of knowing what was coming on if you didn't have a TV guide.
Because imagine having to get up to change to 3 different channels to see.
True.
And
I had to know where you was going.
TV antennas. A couple of years ago,
I don't miss those.
Ron and I tried to buy his mom one so she could just get local channels. You can't. No.
I'm going, you're doing just a basic little antenna.
No.
You know? Of course, I don't miss standing out behind the house with my daddy yelling, wanting me to turn it.
Turn it.
And you'd stand there and he'd
The
go,
other way.
stop, oh, back, stop. And finally, I'd just stand there and not do anything. And he'd holler, stop, that's good. No, wait a minute, turn it. And I wouldn't do anything. I'd just sit there and I'm going, see?
I kind of missed the rabbit ears and stuff because I got into some serious tinfoil art with my rabbit ears.
Mm-hmm.
I got ingenious with that. I remember I had an apartment and we strung a piece of tinfoil all the way from the rabbit ear to a coat hanger that we hung on the window. And it worked perfectly.
Good signal.
Oh, God, yeah. Of course, when I had an apartment when I turned 18, I got me an apartment, stocked it up with some Boone's Farm strawberry wine.
You was big time.
Oh, I was romantic. I brought my girlfriend over for a romantic night. We had Boone's Farm strawberry wine and frozen Red Baron pizza.
Nobody can't say you're not a big spender.
Right. We got a call here. Go ahead, caller. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Good morning. This is Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. What's going on, sis?
Well, talking about the coat hanger, in order for me to pick up Whoop at the laundromat, we have to attach a coat hanger to the radio, run it over to the window, and tape it on the window.
There you go.
So I'm in a no-service area because that big ridge behind that, and that's what we have to do to listen to you on Saturday mornings.
Well, I think that's true about within a half mile of the whole station here.
Yeah, that's when you get outside our parking lot. Do you remember Maple's chair company burning?
I remember it mainly because my dad was a fireman, and I think he was at that fire, but I don't actually
know anything.
What happened.
Okay, because I don't know. We don't remember.
So I know something else that we cannot get, Bosco syrup.
Oh.
And when they stopped carrying Bosco syrup, my dad stopped drinking chocolate milk.
I'm just shocked. There's no Bosco, sir. Oh, my gosh.
I'm an Ovaltine guy.
Ovaltine.
I've got there's a bottle of Ovaltine at my house right now. That's every 2 weeks when we get groceries, Ovaltine. Because it's full of vitamins.
Oh, sure it is.
Well, my dad wasn't concerned about vitamins. He was just concerned about that chocolate taste. And nothing else was as thick. And anyway, he just wouldn't use any of the others.
Remember the Nestle, you probably can still get it, I believe it was Nestle's strawberry.
Yes, strawberry clear.
And I just drink that, and then now I think, ew. When I cleaned out my mom's house, she had one of the metal instant chocolate mixes, the little can, that you used to have to pry the lid off the top of it and get your chocolate out, and I had to bring it home and put it on a shelf.
So,
and she made cocoa gravy out of it, too. She made chocolate gravy.
So we, actually some of these things that you've been talking about this morning are actually still around, and you can get them off the internet, but what actually happened was when all the mom and pop stores went away and the big box retailers came in, they told the manufacturers, if you want us to carry your product, you need to guarantee us, say, $1 million a month.
Yeah.
The companies that manufactured 500,000 a year, and they would just say, well, I'm sorry, we can't do it. So they kind of went into regional areas.
Well, yeah, that's one thing we wanted to say is that it's stuff that you can't get anymore, or it's hard to find.
It's very hard to find, but with the internet, it's actually getting a little bit easier, but also sometimes, like, I looked into getting Bosco for my dad, and it says certain retailers carry it, but they don't, and then if you order it, you have to order a whole case.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Amazon. We wanted to sell our history DVDs on there, and we had to guarantee them that we were ordering 100 of them a month from whoever was manufacturing them for us, and we just laughed.
Yeah.
Nope. All righty, friend. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you later.
I think something that's missing, too, is right after everybody quit making popcorn in the pot on top of the stove with you shaking it and the Jiffy, we can still get Jiffy Pop, but to find a popcorn popper that you actually pour oil in and put the lid on top of it, and it's nice and greasy when you get it finished, it's hard to find one of those.
You can go to the dollar, up here to the, what is it, where you donate some?
Hey, Goodwill.
Goodwill, you can probably find.
Get you a nice old greasy one.
Folks, you can call us here at 614-5553. We got John Cook and Arnold Tarpley here. We're talking about things you can't get anymore, and some things we don't want to get anymore, like them plaid pants.
Melamac dishes.
Melamac. That's them orange dishes.
I can't get into size 10 underwear anymore.
And something the ladies
That's
can't.
been, about 53, 54 years now?
I wonder if you can still get Cheese Whiz.
Yeah, you can still get Cheese Whiz. Imitation cheese in a can. It's a whole bunch of salt held together with orange goop.
Well, wasn't nothing better than a Cheese Whiz sandwich back in the day.
Yeah, I know that John, I was on here one day whining when we first started the show 8 years ago, that I needed some cassette tapes and couldn't find any. You used to go to Walmart and they had a whole wall full of film, and they had a whole wall full of cassette tapes of all different name brands and lengths and stuff, and they had a whole bunch, a big display of pantyhose, and all those things have basically disappeared because I guess the public don't use them anymore.
I haven't used pantyhose in several years now.
I used to.
And people don't have clotheslines at their house.
I used to buy pantyhose all the time when I was younger.
You just cross-dressing?
Well, no, you cut them up and you put a piece of liver or something like in it, and you tie it up and you use it for catfishing bait.
Arnold and I looking at each other like, is he kidding us or not?
No, he's not, because we used to do it too.
No, because that's the best thing in the world, man.
That's the only way you keep liver on the hook.
They can't eat the liver, but they get the scent. And you catch a lot of catfish like that.
Well, in the catfish,
my mom would get so mad because
or pantyhose.
yeah, they'd be missing.
We used to take that clear fingernail polish.
There'd be big parts of them missing.
You'd have big runs in them. Okay, and clear nail polish wouldn't take care of that.
Hey, go ahead, caller. You're live.
Yeah, you mentioned there things you can't get anymore.
Uh-huh.
Go across from the village there next to Stable Lot at that barbecue place. They've got a grand opening day today. You get a half a pound of barbecue sandwich for $2.
Oh, wow.
That's a pretty good deal there now.
I gave them 4, but it's the best barbecue I've eaten.
They'd be right on our way out the parking lot.
And they're true-blooded Americans right there, and 2 guys are.
All righty.
All right.
Thank you.
Go for it. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye. You know, in the 60s, my grandmother's hair got somewhere between light brown and white, and she would put blue rinse on her hair. And you'd see all these little ladies walking around that were in their probably late 60s or something with blue hair. Did I imagine that, or y'all remember that?
I remember blue hair.
Now, some guy waited on me the other night at Walmart that must have been 45 years old. He had a black beard, had his hair dyed, bleached out white, and had blue tips on the end of it, but I don't think that's the same thing.
That was a statement, that wasn't it?
And we used to buy dye for cloth.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd be huge displays in all the store of that, and you could barely find any of that and shoe polish anymore.
You can't buy cloth in the store anymore. It
No,
used to be
you
big
can't.
sec. You know, Willie Nelson wrote a song about that blue dye in the hair. Blue hairs driving in my lane.
Yeah.
I think that's the way that goes, something like that.
Paper dolls. I just saw some on Facebook. You couldn't, the little girl.
Yeah.
We used to, my poor sisters and my mom used to have to cut those out for me when I was little.
Can you get Army men now?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can still get a bucket of Army men.
I hate that guy in the bazooka if you ever stepped on him. He bent down with the riflemen were all right, but the guy with the bazooka bent down in a...
And you can't get bubblegum trading cards anymore.
No.
And I don't know why. Well, now it's become such a collectible industry. They wouldn't dare put a piece of sugary gum
but
in.
it's about to go away too, isn't it? The baseball cards are a thing of the past. Now you have to have Pokemon cards and Power Rangers.
You still get baseball cards, but they're expensive. When I was growing up, you actually bought a pack of baseball cards to trade and look at and get the bubble gum out, and you didn't think anything about it.
What did you ever do? Need 'em, got 'em, need 'em, got 'em, got 'em, need 'em, got 'em.
What? Oh, yeah.
You took the other kids there and you says, need him, got him, need him, got him, and you could remember all that.
We would trade for them. We'd flip coins for them. We'd play marbles for baseball. My favorite collecting cards, though, bubblegum cards, was Batman.
Oh, wasn't that great?
The Batman cards.
You remember when the Beatles come out and the Beatles had?
Yes.
Oh, wouldn't you like to have a collection of those?
Sirius Radio now has got a Beatles channel.
Coming May 18th, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's launched now.
I guess it launched
May 18th.
Launched this past
Thursday.
Oh, boy, I hope it's on. We'll have to figure out what channel that is. I'll tell you something, guys.
All Beatles?
You know
All the
those
time.
big hairdos in the early 1960s that look like big football helmets?
Mm-hmm.
Those were only possible because we had Aquanet hairspray. And then people figured out you could light the lighter and shoot a big flame with that stuff because it was so much alcohol and stuff in it. And we had Dippity-Doo, too. That once the hair got real straight and everybody was wearing their hair straight, the girls would put that on their bangs at night and put a piece of tape over it.
We used to use Brill cream. Can you, a little dab of, do you?
Oh.
I don't know if you can get Brill cream anymore or not, can you?
All that greasy hair stuff.
You wasn't a guy if you wasn't carrying around a black comb.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When was the last time you seen a guy with a comb in his pocket? And that greasy Brill cream in between all the teeth in that comb.
They'd clean it out.
Can you still
Sit
get?
there.
Can you still get Nair?
Yes.
You know.
I don't remember what it's called, but Dad used to wear a flat top.
Uh-huh.
And they had a special cream that he rubbed over that to make the hair stand up.
Yep. In recent months, too, we bought a VCR. And the only way we could get a VCR...
You bought one?
We bought one. Well, we bought one because we needed to transfer from a VCR to a disc, so we had to buy a special player to do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're looking for just a VCR player... There's not even used ones around anymore. Like a good.
I got one in my garage just fixing to go in the yard still.
Well, there you go, folks. Those of you who have gazillion tapes.
What about 8-track tapes? Can't get a good 8-track tape anymore.
Wonder when did they quit selling those?
Oh, man.
Right, when the
Late
cassette
70s?
Cassette comes out.
Because I remember in the early 70s, I actually bought an 8-track recorder from Radio Shack.
Wow.
I would buy blank 8 tracks and make my own 8 tracks. I'd
You
take it
weren't
from an
normal.
album. I'd put my favorite albums on and record just a song or two from this album, a song or two from that album, and make my own 8-track tapes.
I tell you, my dad bought about.
I'd love to still have that machine.
72 range. He bought a new Pontiac Grand Am. Had the greatest sound system. We used to sit and run his battery down in the garage to listen to 8 tracks. You know, it was great. But that was until the heads got a little off thing. Then you heard the other channel coming in. It was pretty bad. The 8 tracks, yeah. Do you still have your 8 tracks?
No.
I've got
they're
some.
Long gone.
I've got some.
Now, I've got quite a collection of 45s, but no 8 tracks and cassette. Lord, the only cassettes I've got are Tennessee Tea cassettes.
I've got a case of 8 tracks that I kept, and I've got a case of cassettes. So,
where do you play them?
I don't play them.
I just got 'em.
Actually, the Impala that we still have does have a cassette player in it. 2002 Impala.
All right.
So I could actually play my cassettes in that, but I never.
And I know it's not anything that most people miss too much, but you used to be able to go a lot of different places and buy stationery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the envelopes and the paper that matches, and I guess I'm the only person in the world that might occasionally write a note these days. And the last time I looked...
Writing?
I can't remember the last actual letter that I wrote.
Now,
the last letter I wrote was only 2 lines, and it was, "Please excuse Taylor today. She's
now
has a cold."
You can get some high quality paper in envelopes at Staples. Still, some of the office supply places, but
it's not just, you know. I used to get whole tablets of the same little piece of paper, and I would write on it, you know, but can't find that anymore.
You know, well, there's probably you can't get a good writing lesson in school anymore, can you?
We actually do teach writing.
To teach cursive again, aren't they?
Well, we never quit. Wherever I was at, we never quit. But we don't spend monumental time on it because we have to teach the kids how to use the keyboard too now.
Well, I'm raising 2 grandchildren, and they cannot. I'll write some instructions out for them, or write a list of some things I want them to do, and I don't print. I write in cursive. I always have, and they can't read it. And as far as I know, in the city schools, I'm not sure if they've started or are about to start teaching cursive again.
Well, and
but
then some
really
of that
don't
comes
put too much emphasis in writing at all, because everything, even in the classroom,
everything's
on
right.
keyboard.
And see,
you take keyboarding.
Mom used to go to the mailbox too, and Grandma had sent a letter, and the kids would learn to read it there too. They're not exposed to it. And
Remember
even
the writing tablets?
Yeah.
With the big lines on them, and you practice the capital T and the small T. You go through there.
I remember
I don't think they.
Now you got to learn to put shift.
Yeah.
We don't do as much as that as we used to, but some of it's the society too. Is that they learn to read by looking at their mama's phone.
The entire world's looking down.
We spent so much time learning how to do the letters in cursive so perfectly and correctly and so neat, and then I went to college. That was the end of that.
You just have to write fast.
You know, something you can't get anymore. It's just straightforward. This is the news today, and then go home. 'Cause wherever the news is now, there's a commentary goes along. No one just not Chet Huntley. And,
well, the news is 24 hours now, and it's for profit.
Yes.
At that time, back in the day, I hate to use that phrase because that
makes you old.
Back in the day, you know, each major network, the three major networks, had a news broadcast, and you're right, it was to do nothing but to deliver the news. Here's what happened in the world today, and it was just factual. But now, it's cable, and it's 24/7, and it's for profit.
And you pick the one that you agree with.
You pick
That's
the
right.
news,
You pick the one you're at.
You pick the news that makes you happy.
The one that sins like you do. Yeah. If people who sin differently, you are sinners.
It doesn't matter what faith, religion, race, creed.
You go back to when I was growing up. Probably the lead newsman was Walter Cronkite.
Yeah.
And you listen to him give the news for 30 minutes every night. Listen to him for years. And then I read a article on him and his political leanings. And the description they give, you never would have thought he was that way listening to his news broadcast.
Well, you know now, don't you?
Oh, you know now.
Yeah.
Hey, you could trust a news broadcaster that was sitting there smoking a cigarette.
Ron, it's 12 o'clock, buddy.
Now, do you remember that, watching the news on TV?
Yes.
The guy sitting there with a cigarette in one hand and a big ashtray.
What was one that done it for a long time? He had one of the early TV guys before all of them. You know, he went after McCarthy.
I know who you're talking about.
I keep saying Merle Dirksen, but he's a city school board member.
Yeah,
Edward R. Merle.
He goes back to the radio in World War II.
Yes.
Okay, it takes all of us to remember one name.
Yes.
Guys, here on Old Town Cleveland next week, we will be talking to the Beekeepers Association. Should be a fun and interesting show.
Should be a buzz.
It should be a buzz.
Oh, God, John.
The Historical Society is in Charleston tomorrow at 3 o'clock. 1982 class reunion on the air this afternoon from 4 to 7, and out in the mall after that. Come by and have a good time with your people you know.
Over at
Flint Springs. They're going to have free beans and cornbread tonight from 5 to 7:30 to remember the veterans.
Birchwood Opry tonight. It's about $5 to get in there, and they got great barbecue sandwiches over there. And
There's a big show going on here at the, they're taking the Old Village Theater here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some music show going on here
and turned it into a beautiful facility for
well, if
concerts.
Someone would let us know, we would be glad to announce those things.
Summer Chiron, I think's her name.
Yeah.
Who's very well known, is going to be there, and several other
it's
groups.
About $10 a head to get in, or something
8,
like that.
I believe.
Yeah. So that's tonight, isn't it?
Yep.
So yeah, it's great things. Always something good to do around Cleveland, Tennessee. Or if you on Sundays, if you don't, the Chattanooga Market goes on every Sunday down at the Pavilion next to Finley Stadium. If you haven't been to that, it's unbelievable. Yeah. There are hundreds of exhibitors there. You can get fresh fruits. You can get photos. You can get anything you want. You can buy fresh bread being made there. And
take your patients with you.
Yeah.
And a programming note, there will be no good sports this week, as Tommy and I both will be at the beach.
Wow, boy, is the beach ready for those two bodies.
John, we may just have to come in and run. We may have to do our version.
Go for it.
Do bad sports.
Bad sports. That works. Sometimes I think we have bad sports
show.
But just letting everybody know that we will be
wanting to come in and find out how this new thing in NASCAR is working. That they race for a little while, then they quit. Then they race a little while, then they quit.
The stages.
It's the stages, yeah.
So far, it seems to be working pretty good. Most people I've seen on Twitter and other places seem to be pretty happy with it. So
it's totally different these days.
Yeah.
Gives you a little break, a little more time to drink in between.
Yeah,
we need some.
Well, there's talking about it. Even people who have been NASCAR fans for years are enjoying it because it gets to that point. They know advertising's going to be on. They run, let the dog out of the house, and go to the restroom, whatever they need to do, they come back and the racing
The dog's
starts.
on his own. I mean, he can get his
Yeah.
own beer. But, well, there's no Kelly Yarborough and Donnie Allison fighting in the infield or nothing like that anymore. We just don't have that good stuff. Now they fine them for doing all that
Yeah,
stuff.
they do.
You can't get a good stock car race anymore.
Exactly, with a good fight at the end of it.
And you can't get a good dirt track race in
No,
Cleveland
you
anymore
can't.
either.
I meant to mention that.
Man.
So.
Well, I don't know. There's very few tracks open anymore, and that's a sad commentary. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for joining us today. Sometimes we just like to have a show where we sit here and talk and make you think about things you hadn't thunk about in a while. Today's been that day.
Bull.
Yeah.
We shot the bull.
Bull has nothing to do
John
with it.
Cook and Arnold Tarpley. It's always great to have you both in here. We always have a lot of fun with you guys here, and maybe John and I just may come in and do Good Sports Thursday. What do you think, John?
There's a very good possibility.
It may be joke hour.
Well, sometimes that works the best sports of all this time of year.
We'll have to go on the internet and find jokes that are appropriate for Whoop Radio.
Well, depends on what hour you're talking about.
Oh, from 3 to 5, they would be appropriate.
Yeah, there's not much inappropriate between 3 to 5. Is there?
Well, that's a whole nother story.
You know, Pro Daddy is an acquired taste.
Yep.
And a lot of people like him, so that's good. We like Pro Daddy. I'm almost afraid to have him come on Saturday morning, though.
Nope.
But he wouldn't come on Saturday morning because he don't wake up till about 12.
Yeah, he wakes up about the time your show's ending.
Hey, folks, as we always say, it's up to you to save history in our community and around the world.
Around the world.
Every day that someone passes away, some history dies. So talk to your mom and your dad and your aunts and your uncles and your brothers and your sisters and record them. You can go record them on your phone now, whatever. Write down what their stories are, because someday their children will love these stories. And their children, when they're young, don't care about them till they're gone. Then they worry about what Papa had to say and things. So it's up to you. And as always, we say everyone will remember Pearl Harbor, but Deb?
Will they remember Aunt Pearl? See you here next week on Old Town Cleveland.
Well, children, we're going to make some brownies tonight. I want y'all to get your timer from your mother, and let's wind it up here.
All of my friends that I loved yesterday have gone. They have gone home. Gone home. They have gone home. The songbirds are singing, the dells seem to say you've gone. They have gone home. Gone home. They have gone home. They've joined the heavenly fold. They're walking the streets of pure gold. They left one by one as the work here was done. Gone home. They have gone home. Gone home. They have gone home. Life here is lonely since they've gone before. Gone. They have gone home. Gone. They have gone home. The old weeping willow that stands by the door sadly says.